I'm Kim. Today we're going to be talking about how to wear a Meh Dai. You might have heard it previously called a Meh Dai. So this is an Asian style carrier that has a square panel, two short straps which go around your waist, and two long straps which are for your shoulders. So before I talk about the carrier, I want to go over the ABCs of baby wearing. So we have airway, body positioning, and comfort. So airway is you want to think of a child's airway being really small and fragile, kind of like a bendy straw. If it's collapsed, no air is coming through. A good rule of thumb is you can put your two adult fingers under their chin. They're not slumping or slouching, and that's going to keep them their airway nice and open and they can breathe. Body positioning, you need to make sure you're wearing an appropriate carrier for the child that you're wearing, how old they are, how big they are, where they're at developmentally with what they can do with their body. They can hold their head up, they can hold their neck up, hold their trunk up. And then for comfort is everyone wants to be comfortable. You want the baby to be comfortable that you're wearing, and you want to be comfortable. You don't want to be in any pain. If you're experiencing that, there's probably just a few adjustments that you need to do to make that a comfortable carry for you. So you can wear a Meh Dai on your front, on your hip, and on your back. You can also do legs in if you're wearing a small infant to be on your hip. You want the child to be able to hold themselves up pretty well. If you think of holding them on your hip normally, if they are not, kind of slumping and falling back, then usually like 4 to 6 months, that's a good time that you're able to use the hip carry. A back carry, at least 6 months or older, they need to be completely sitting up unassisted. When we go back to the airway, when they're back there, you don't have a view of them. So you want to make sure that they are not slumping back there because you won't be able to hear it as well or feel it. So when they're on your front, you always want them visible and kissable, nice and high. You're going to start by putting this carrier kind of at your natural waist. And if you're wearing a smaller child, you might even go a little bit higher. So there are a few different styles of a Meh Dai. There are padded and unpadded. So it just depends on which one you have that you're using. There's a couple of different adjustments that you'll need to make. So this is an unpadded waist. You can see it's really thin. There's nothing padded here. So for this style, I'm going to wear it kind of like an apron. So you're going to have it flat against your body, and then you're going to turn around, you're going to make double knot. It helps to suck in a little bit when you're tying it, gets kind of a tighter fit. So for a front carry, depending on the size of your child is where you'll wear it. If you want it higher for a small one, you can wear it more at your natural waist if they're a little bit bigger. So you're gonna go ahead and take baby. So it also depends, there are a few adjustments when you're doing a tummy to tummy carry if you are using wearing a smaller child. So you can do legs in with a newborn. This is obviously a bigger baby. So you would kind of put their weight on their bottom. You never want their legs to be, or the weight to be on their legs. So for this carry, thinking more of like a 3-month-old, so you're gonna pick up baby. Back to body positioning, you want the child to be, their legs to be in an M position. So you think of that, their knees are always higher than their bottom. And if you hold a baby, this is kind of the natural position they go in anyways. Their legs are nice and spread apart. They kind of sink down. So you're gonna start with the child in the tummy to tummy position. So you always wanna keep at least one hand on baby. So you're gonna hold on and then take this panel and guide it up their back. And then you can switch. And you wanna get a nice deep seat so you can kind of bounce to get them in a little more. while still keeping that nice knee to knee. This baby obviously doesn't have real bendable knees, so it's a little bit different. So you're gonna guide that carrier up and over, and you're gonna take one shoulder and flip it back. Switch hands, always keeping one hand on baby, and go for the other side. So the nice thing about a Meh Dai is it's very moldable and usually really long straps. So you can use this carrier between different people. So if different body types, you can you won't have to purchase multiple carriers if you have other people that are using the carrier. So that's a great benefit. So I've got my straps over my shoulders. I'm gonna turn around so you can see. I'm gonna take my left hand and I'm gonna go for the opposite shoulder. So I'm gonna go to my right side. To tighten this, you're gonna pull down, straight down. You can also kind of shrug your shoulders to help get it nice and tight. You don't wanna pull out because it's not gonna do anything. You don't wanna pull to the side, just straight down. And then you're gonna bring that around. And you're gonna take this hand and grab the strap. So you're still supporting baby and you've got one side tightened. And you're actually gonna switch. So then I'm gonna take my right hand, reach back, pull down and tighten again, straight down, and then bring around. And this carrier is just naturally kind of bunched up. It depends on which one you're using. You'll want to keep these more flat, and you're going to create an X on your bag. The lower this X is on your body is going to be more comfortable. If it was really high towards your neck, that's going to put pressure up there. So you want to try and keep that low. So even once you've got baby in the front, you can give a little pull out to the side, and that still is keeping that X, and that gives you a little bit more support and tighten. So there are a couple different ways you can tie from here. If you were using a small child, you want to protect them from falling out of the sides. So a normal tie is you're just going to tie right at their bottom in a double knot, and then you're going to push that down. So this would be an appropriate tie off for this size child. If you were using it for a smaller baby, you really need to make sure for safety they're not going to be able to fall off the sides. So what you're going to do, instead of tying here, is you're just going to wrap it around and then go underneath. Bring that back up. And then you're gonna tie behind your back. If you have enough fabric. As you can see, I don't have a lot to work with. So I'm gonna bring this back and show you just tied under bun. So again, tie at the diaper line, and then you can push down. Just so it's not putting any pressure on their back, it's more comfortable to have it underneath their bottom. If you do have enough fabric and you don't want your straps to hang down and you wanted to just go and tie in the back, it's also helpful if you tie one of them on a different side, maybe on your side for this, your waist strap. That way, when you're trying to take baby down, you don't get confused, because they're both in the same spot. So that's kind of a handy little tip there. To get baby down from this carry, you can kind of just pull that back up, untie, and then bring one strap, kind of slide your hand so you're holding baby. You can bring the panel down, and then you've got baby out. So if you were gonna do a hip carry, actually first before I go on to that, if you were using a small baby and you want it to be able to fit them in if the panel was high. And this carry, because it has this structure right here, it's too big to wear a newborn. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the waist strap and you're gonna fold it in. And that actually is gonna shorten the panel so the smaller child would fit. If you have padded straps, you cannot do that. And then also, if the panel is too wide for your baby, let me put it back on. Depends on your carrier. Some actually have a built-in like cinching method. So they might have a little pull tie right here that would bring it in to give them full knee-to-knee coverage. You don't want it to go past their knees. That would put them in an unsafe position. So depending on if you put your baby in and there was too much space and it was going past their knees, then you would need to cinch this down. So if your carrier like this one did not have a built-in cinching method, you could use a hair tie at the panel and would make that smaller. That way when you bring it up, it would be thinner right here and fit more of that knee-to-knee coverage. You always want to make sure they have good knee-to-knee coverage. That's going to support their body. So to move on for a hip carry, you're basically going to tie, I'll show you. Let me untie this. Off to your hip, and then you're going to tie on the other side. So this isn't a very popular carry. It does put weight on your shoulders, which is not always very comfortable. But for a quick trip, it's pretty handy. So as you can see, before it was center on my body and now it's off to the side. I'm not gonna put it completely on the side because that would be in the way of my arm. So kind of a little bit in front. So then you're gonna go ahead and pick up your baby and kind of put the same way. You're gonna spread their legs, get them nice and seated, and then start to bring the panel up their back. Kind of bounce a little bit. So you can see here, there's a little bit of space. So I would want to cinch this in if I was really using this for my baby. All right, so you're gonna take the opposite shoulder that the child is sitting on, and you're gonna bring that up and over. Switch hands so you still have one hand on baby. And you're gonna pull this across your body. And then the shoulder that you're wearing, baby, is gonna go underneath your arm. It kind of helps if you pinch it down so you can find it, and straight across your body. So you can pull that straight to kind of tighten. And then you're gonna meet here in the middle. You don't want this creeping up on your neck, so you can kind of pull that down a little bit. And then from here, just gonna do the same thing as before. You're gonna tie right up their diaper line. And then you can push that down to get them a little bit more comfortable. So as you can see, it's not totally on my hips, still a little bit more centered. This baby has got some weird knees going on. So I'm gonna pull this down so it's not putting any, it's not gonna creep up on my neck. And there you go, this is the hip carry for Meh Dai. To get down, I'm just gonna pop this back up, untie, and bring both straps around. Put one hand behind baby, let the panel fall. From here I can set baby down and then untie. Okay, so now we'll show a back carry. So for the back carry, you're gonna tie on the back. And you'll notice when I'm tying that this has a pattern on one side. So when I'm tying it, that is against my body. So you're gonna want that in an even position on your back. Tying a double knot on your stomach. Okay. All right, so there's two ways that you can get a baby on your back. You can do a hip scoot where you hold baby and kind of scoot them on your back. You can also do Superman toss where you take baby, kind of toss them over your shoulders. So I prefer to do hip scoot. If I was gonna do a Superman toss, you just hold baby. Either way, you wanna make sure you're holding by their torso, not by their arms. And then you're just gonna swoop over. So I'm gonna go over my left shoulder. So you just bring up and over. And you want baby to be nice and high. You can also do it if they were facing you, you would just cross your arms. So you would put one hand under, one hand over, and kind of swoop them around. So like I said, I like to do the hip scoop. So I'm gonna hold baby on my hip. And I'm gonna go around the right side of my body. So I'm gonna take my right hand and I start with it under baby's bottom. Then I'm gonna take my left hand and support baby. And I'm just gonna quickly bring my arm up and over. So he kind of goes under my armpit. And then I'm gonna just hop and scoot, scoot, reach around, and scoot. Okay, from here, I can make sure that his legs are nice and spread. And I can start rocking that panel up. So I'm gonna switch hands. So I still have my hand supporting baby and pull that panel. From here, I can bring straps up and over my shoulders. Once you know that baby you checked that the panel is all the way up, that they're in there safely, you can kind of take your straps and do a bounce because you know that they're not going to fall out. All right, so from here, you're going to take one strap and put it in between your knees and work one at a time. So you want to make sure that this is nice and flat, your straps. So you're going to go back behind your shoulder, you're going to go over this first leg and underneath the second. So like I said, you want to try and keep this spread open. And then you're going to switch. So I'm going to put this one underneath, in between my legs, and then work with the other shoulder. So again, this is going to be like backpack style. That's how you think of it for your arms. Over first leg, under other leg. And same thing, you can tie off on the side so you can tell the difference. So you know which one's your waist and you know which one is the bottom strap. So you can kind of adjust. So this is like a backpack. So the straps go over your shoulders like a backpack would. So as you can see, I mean, this baby is probably a little bit smaller than I would do. His body wouldn't really sit up. And you want to make sure that baby is completely sitting unassisted before you start a back carry. If you have not done a back carry before, you want to make sure that you practice on your front. If you were using the back carry for a Meh Dai, that you were really comfortable using a Meh Dai in the front. If you have not done it before, practice getting baby up on your back without a carrier. You should be able to hip scoot or Superman toss pretty proficiently to get them on. And you want to do it over like a bed or a couch, or have a spotter if it's your first time doing it, just in case anything happens. You want to always be safe when you're baby wearing. You don't want any accidents to happen. So yeah, this is a Meh Dai carry. Like I said, you can do a front, a side, or a back. Always want to make sure that you can put your 2 fingers underneath baby's chin. Make sure baby is not slumping. For a front carry, you can do legs in with the newborn. You can do legs out with the newborn. You want to make sure you're able to cinch that panel nice and small to help keep their body supported. Hip carry, usually 4 to 6 months, baby is able to have sufficient trunk control that they're not flinging back. And then back carry and assisted sitting, usually 6 months or more, depending on your comfort level of baby wearing. And Meh Dai is great carry to use between different carriers because it is very moldable. You can get longer straps if you need it, depending on what body size you are, what you have and what you're using for. So, all right, thank you. Okay, and so if you want to get baby out of a back carry in a Meh Dai, what you're gonna do is untie this top waist. This is where it comes in handy, that it has already been tied off to the side. So you're gonna hold on to the straps, place one hand on baby. You can guide that strap off, switch hands to get it, to pull it all the way through. You're gonna take the other strap, loosen that one. Now you can take them off your shoulders. Take your hand in between the panel and baby's back, and you can guide that panel off so they are completely free. And then you can kind of just reverse hip carry, where you're gonna bring like a swimmer stroke around and bounce baby back. Okay, there you go. That's how to get baby down from the back carry. Now you can set your baby down and untie. Thank you.